Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams, and with me is Rupinder Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates Ayurveda institutes at Jamnagar and Jaipur, says Ayurveda focuses on well-being of humanity. World Health Organization to set up its Global Center for Traditional Medicine in India. Top leaders of NDA met in Patna to discuss the formation of new government in Bihar. Center to provide over 4,000 crore rupees to 6 states affected by cyclone, floods and landslides. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to around 93%. And Dhanteras being celebrated throughout the country today. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that Ayurveda is the heritage of India, which has focused on the well-being of the whole of humanity. Dedicating 2 future-ready Ayurveda institutions, Institute of Teaching and Research in Ayurveda, Jamnagar, and National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, to the nation through video conferencing on the 5th Ayurveda Day, Mr. Modi said it is a matter of immense happiness for every Indian that our traditional knowledge is now enriching other countries as well.
आयुर्वेद भारत की एक विरासत है जिसके विस्तार में पूरी मानवता की भलाई है। ये देखकर किस भारतीय को खुशी नहीं होगी कि हमारा पारंपरिक ज्ञान अब अन्य देशों को भी समृद्ध कर रहा है। आज ब्राजील की राष्ट्रीय नीति में आयुर्वेद शामिल है। भारत अमेरिका संबंध हो, भारत जर्मनी रिश्ते हो, आयुष और भारतीय पारंपरिक चिकित्सा पद्धति से जुड़ा सहयोग निरंतर बढ़ रहा है।
He said it is a matter of pride that the World Health Organization, WHO, has selected India to set up its Global Center for Traditional Medicine.
WHO ने ग्लोबल सेंटर फॉर ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन इसकी स्थापना के लिए दुनिया में से भारत को चुना है और अब भारत में से दुनिया के लिए इस दिशा में काम होगा.
Mr. Modi stressed the need to bring the Ayurveda knowledge out of books, scriptures and home remedies and develop this ancient knowledge as per modern needs. He remarked that new research is being done in the country by combining the information received from the modern science of the 21st century with our ancient medical knowledge.
इस ज्ञान को आधुनिक आवश्यकताओं के अनुसार विकसित किया जाना ये बहुत आवश्यक है. इसलिए देश में अब पहली बार हमारे पुरातन चिकित्सा वाला ज्ञान जो है उस ज्ञान विज्ञान को 21वीं सदी के आधुनिक विज्ञान से मिली जानकारी के साथ भी उसको जोड़ा जा रहा है, इंटीग्रेट किया जा रहा है, नई रिसर्च की जा रही है.
The Prime Minister said Ayurveda is not just an alternative today, but is one of the key bases of the country's health policy. He informed that work is on to develop the National Sowa Rigpa Institute for Research and other studies related to Sowa Rigpa in Leh. Congratulating the 2 institutes for their upgradation, the Prime Minister pointed out that they have more responsibility now and hoped that they will prepare Ayurveda syllabus which meets the international standards. He also called upon the Education Ministry and UGC to find new avenues in disciplines like Ayurveda Physics and Ayurveda Chemistry. Mr. Modi also called upon the startups and private sector to study the global trends and demands and ensure their participation in the sector. He said the National Commission of Indian System of Medicines and the National Commission of Homeopathy were established by the Parliament in the last session, and the National Education Policy also promotes an integrated approach. He said the basic notion of this policy is that the knowledge of allopathic practices should be compulsory in Ayurvedic education.
The Prime Minister pointed out that during the Corona period, the demand for Ayurvedic products has increased rapidly all over the world. He said exports of Ayurvedic products increased by about 45% in September this year compared to the previous year. Mr. Modi said the significant increase in export of spices like turmeric, ginger, considered as immunity boosters, shows the sudden boost in confidence in Ayurvedic solutions and Indian spices in the world. He said now, in many countries, specialty drinks related to turmeric are also increasing, and the world's prestigious medical journals are also seeing new hope in Ayurveda. The Prime Minister said during this corona period, the focus was not only limited to the use of Ayurveda alone, but used to advance research related to Ayush in the country and the world. Mr. Modi said today, on one hand, India is testing vaccines, and on the other, it is also increasing international cooperation on Ayurvedic research to fight COVID. He pointed out that research is going on in more than 100 places at this time, including the All India Institute of Ayurveda in Delhi, which has conducted research related to immunity on 80,000 Delhi police personnel. He said it may be the world's largest group study, and there are encouraging results. Mr. Modi said a few more international trials are to be started in the coming days. He said special emphasis is being given on Ayurvedic medicines, herbs, as well as nutritious foods that enhance immunity.
आज हम आयुर्वेदिक दवाओं, जड़ी बूटियों के साथ साथ इम्यूनिटी को बढ़ाने वाले न्यूट्रिशियस फूड पर भी विशेष बल दे रहे हैं। मोटे अनाज यानी मिलेट्स का उत्पादन बढ़ाने के लिए आज किसानों को प्रोत्साहित किया जा रहा है। यही नहीं, गंगा जी के किनारे और हिमालयी क्षेत्रों में ऑर्गेनिक उत्पादों को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है। आयुर्वेद से जुड़े हुए पेड़ पौधे लगाने पर बल दिया जा रहा है। कोशिश ये है कि दुनिया की वेलनेस में भारत ज्यादा से ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट करे, हमारा एक्सपोर्ट भी बढ़े और हमारे किसानों की आय में भी बढ़ोतरी हो।
The Prime Minister said today farmers are being encouraged to increase production of coarse grains as well as organic products on the banks of the Ganges and in the Himalayan regions. He added, the Ministry of Ayush is working on a comprehensive plan for India to contribute more and more in the wellness of the world so that our exports should also increase along with income of our farmers. Mr. Modi pointed out that after the start of the COVID pandemic, the prices of Ayurvedic herbs like ashwagandha, giloy and tulsi have increased a lot. The price of ashwagandha has more than doubled compared to last year, and its direct benefit is reaching our farmers cultivating these herbs. The Prime Minister urged the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Ayush or other departments to work together to increase awareness of the usefulness of many herbs available in India. He stressed that the development of the entire ecosystem related to Ayurveda will also promote tourism related to health and wellness in the country. Director General of World Health Organization WHO, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, gave a video message on the occasion and praised the Prime Minister's commitment to the universal coverage under Ayushman Bharat and evidence-based promotion of traditional medicines to achieve health-related objectives.
I'm pleased to announce that we have agreed to open a WHO Global Center on Traditional Medicine in India to strengthen the evidence, research, training and awareness of traditional and complementary medicine. This new center will support WHO's efforts to implement the WHO Traditional Medicine Strategy 2014 to 2023.
Minister for Ayush Shripad Nayak, Rajasthan Governor Kalraj Mishra and Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, Gujarat Governor Acharya Devavrat and Chief Minister Vijay Rupani were present on the occasion.
Our Jaipur correspondent reports that with the deemed university status, the NIA will be able to impart even greater standard of teaching, training, research and patient care, and also invoke scientific outlook to the knowledge of Ayurvedic system of medicine.
Having a tradition of about 145 years in the field of Ayurveda, the National Institute of Ayurveda is one of the top institutes in the country. This institute is presently affiliated to Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Rajasthan Ayurveda University, Jodhpur. With the deemed university status, new courses in the field of Ayurveda would be started and research work would be promoted. After the formation of the university, this institute will be able to develop synergy with foreign institutions, and it is also expected to give a boost to Ayurveda tourism at the local level. Even during the COVID period, this institute has done significant work in making Ayurveda Kada and treatment of COVID patients. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
The Institute of Teaching and Research in Ayurveda, ITRA Jamnagar, is one of the premier institutions of Ayurveda in the country. Our correspondent reports that the institute has recently got the status of an institution of national importance. More details from our correspondent.
It is the first institute in the Ayush sector to be accorded the Institute of National Importance status. The ITRA Jamnagar, recently created through an Act of Parliament, is poised to emerge as a world-class healthcare institution. It has 12 departments, 3 clinical laboratories and 3 research laboratories. It is also a leader in research work in international medicines, conducting 33 research projects currently. Vaidya Arpan Bhatt, the in-charge principal of Ayurveda Vidyalaya in Jamnagar, said that now the institute can expand its research activities at the international level. The ITRA has been formed by conglomerating the cluster of 4 Ayurveda institutions on the Gujarat Ayurveda University campus in Jamnagar. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
India Post Payments Bank IPPB has successfully launched the initiative of doorstep service for submission of digital life certificate through postman. The facility to submit life certificate online through Jeevan Praman portal was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in November 2014 with the objective to provide a convenient and transparent facility to pensioners for submission of life certificate. In order to make this facility available across the country, Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare roped in the India Post Payments Bank to utilize its huge network of postmen and Grameen Dak Sevaks in providing doorstep facility to pensioners for submission of life certificate digitally.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates Ayurveda institutes at Jamnagar and Jaipur, says Ayurveda focuses on well-being of humanity. World Health Organization to set up its global center for traditional medicine in India. Newly elected MLAs of NDA to meet in Patna on 15th of November to take a final call on the formation of new government in Bihar. Center to provide over 4,000 crore rupees to 6 states affected by cyclone, floods and landslides. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to around 93%. And Dhanteras is being celebrated throughout the country today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Radio presents Northeast Diary, glimpses of the news of the week from the northeastern states.
All about the region, a gateway to Southeast Asia, the developments and the destinations to look forward to.
News from the art, cultural and entertainment world of the northeastern states of India. All this and more.
Every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. in the evening on 100.1 All India Radio FM News Channel.
Welcome back to the Midday News. The leaders of all the 4 constituents of National Democratic Alliance NDA met in Patna today to discuss the formation of a new government in Bihar. The meeting was organized at the official residence of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. This was the first meeting of the NDA after the assembly election results. Leaders of all 4 NDA parties, JDU, BJP, Hindustani Awam Morcha, HAM and Vikashsheel Insan Party, VIP, participated at the meeting. BJP State Unit President Sanjay Jaiswal, Union Minister Nityanand Rai and senior BJP leader Sushil Kumar Modi attended the meeting. Senior JDU leaders RCP Singh and Vijay Kumar Chaudhary, HAM President Jitan Ram Manjhi and VIP Chief Mukesh Sahni also participated at the meeting. After the meeting, Nitish Kumar said the newly elected MLAs will meet in Patna on the 15th of November to take the final call on the formation of the new government.
15 तारीख को 12:30 बजे दिन में हम लोग संयुक्त बैठक करेंगे विधायक मंडल दल की। सभी एक साथ बैठेंगे चारों दलों के लोग और उसी में जो भी निर्णय आगे का लेना है वो सब निर्णय लेंगे।
Earlier, JDU President Nitish Kumar had said every aspect of the formation of the government will be discussed at the meeting. Mr. Kumar said people have given their mandate to the NDA and it will form the new government in the state. Meanwhile, lone independent MLA Sumit Singh has announced his support to the NDA. Mr. Singh has taken this decision after meeting with Nitish Kumar. He has been elected from Chakai Assembly seat.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached to around 93%. More than 49,000 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours. Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 81,15,000. The actual caseload currently comprises only 5.55% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is around 4,84,000. During the past 24 hours, 44,874 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 87 lakh. The ministry said that effective implementation of the strategic and graded test, track and treat approach has led to higher recoveries and lower fatality. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.47%, which is one of the lowest globally. During the last 24 hours, 547 deaths were reported, taking the toll to 1,28,668. According to Indian Council of Medical Research, more than 11,39,000 tests were conducted during the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far has reached 12 crore 31 lakh. A total of 7,053 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 4,67,000. Delhi government said that over 4,16,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far.
Head of All India Institute of Medical Sciences Hospital Administration in New Delhi, Dr. Siddharth Satpathy has emphasized the need to follow COVID-appropriate behavior in order to save ourselves from the coronavirus. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Satpathy enumerated 5 precautions one must take in the time of this pandemic.
As you may be aware that there are 15 COVID-appropriate behaviors, and in my opinion, I would like to highlight on 5 of the most important COVID-appropriate behaviors, which we all must follow as citizens of this country. So the first and the most important COVID-appropriate behavior is we must wash our hands or use alcohol-based hand rubs before touching our face. The second most important is wearing mask in public places. The third important thing is do not eat together in the office spaces. The fourth is we are approaching the winter. Winter has already set in. So maintaining cough etiquette. And the last is whenever you have any symptoms which you think could be COVID related, test yourself early.
In Karnataka, the pandemic is declining as the positivity rate comes down to 1.83% and case fatality rate to 0.99%. The state reported 3,368 recoveries and 2,116 new COVID cases yesterday. More from our correspondent.
Karnataka State Health Department will set up new improved PHC, that is Primary Healthcare Centers, with the help of World Bank. These healthcare centers will function 24/7 with better medical care facilities. Minister of Health and Medical Education Dr. K. Sudhakar has said that necessary policy changes will be made to implement this project. It is being planned to set up primary health centers for every 30,000 population, and existing 2,300 PHCs will be improved in terms of services and working hours. To encourage doctors to serve in rural settings, the department is mulling over the possibilities of introducing a policy to promote doctors based on their length of service in rural areas. Dr. Sudhakar has informed that 1,250 MBBS doctors, 950 specialists, 150 dentists and 1,500 resident doctors will be recruited shortly. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Telangana state reported 997 fresh COVID cases during the past 24 hours. With this, the total COVID cases reported in the state has gone up to 2,55,663. The state conducted over 40,000 tests yesterday. The recovery rate slightly improved to 92.76%, with 1,222 more people recovering yesterday.
The high-level committee under the chairmanship of Home Minister Amit Shah has approved additional central assistance of over 4,381 crore rupees under the National Disaster Response Fund to 6 states which were affected by cyclone, floods, landslides during this year. For Cyclone Amphan, over 2,707 crore rupees has been approved for West Bengal and over 128 crore rupees for Odisha. For Cyclone Nisarg, over 268 crore rupees has been approved for Maharashtra. For floods and landslides during the southwest monsoon season, over 577 crore rupees has been approved for Karnataka, over 611 crore rupees for Madhya Pradesh, and over 87 crore rupees for Sikkim. In the aftermath of Cyclone Amphan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had visited the affected states of West Bengal and Odisha on 22nd of May this year. As announced by the Prime Minister, financial assistance of 1,000 crore rupees to West Bengal and 500 crore rupees to Odisha were released in advance on 23rd of May for immediate relief activities in these states. In addition, the Prime Minister had also announced 2 lakh rupees ex gratia for the next of the kin of the deceased and 50,000 rupees for the injured, which was over and above the ex gratia provided through the State Disaster Response Fund and the National Disaster Response Fund. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Today is Dhanteras. It marks the first day of Diwali. It is celebrated on the 13th day of the Krishna Paksha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today greeted the people on the auspicious occasion. In a tweet, Mr. Modi hoped that Lord Dhanvantri will bring happiness, prosperity, good luck and good health in everyone's life. In Uttar Pradesh, preparations for a grand Deepotsav are underway in Ayodhya. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will take part in the Deepotsav this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also expected to participate in the event virtually. Doordarshan will broadcast live the Deepotsav from Ayodhya. More from our correspondent.
Ancient city Ayodhya is all set to break its own record by lighting 5,51,000 earthen lamps this evening on the banks of holy river Saryu. Around 10,000 volunteers, including many students of Ram Manohar Lohia Awadh University, are busy in giving final touch to the arrangements. First time, the lamps will be lit at Sri Ram Janmabhoomi premises also. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will light the lamps there, and state government has made the arrangements for every Ram Bhakt's participation in this event virtually. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also expected to light a lamp in the Deepotsav virtually. Many Deepotsavs are also being organized on the banks of holy rivers and ancient temples across the state. Famous Devi Patan Shakti Peeth in Balrampur district will also witness a grand Deepotsav. It's a place where many devotees from neighboring country Nepal also come to take blessings of Goddess Durga. Deputy Chief Minister Keshav Prasad Maurya will take part in the Deepotsav program on the banks of river Ganga in Sringverpur near Prayagraj. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Telangana, the state government has banned crackers on the eve of the Deepavali festival in the state. Orders have been issued to this effect after the High Court asked the government to ban crackers for this Deepavali over a public interest litigation. The court also directed the state to file an action taken report by the 19th of this month and create awareness among people about the ban on crackers as part of measures to prevent spread of coronavirus and pollution in the wake of the pandemic. In our series on Safe Diwali, today we are talking about e-waste management during Diwali. On Diwali, people buy many electrical and electronic equipments, and they should also responsibly dispose the e-waste. You have to think before buying any electronic gadget, because lesser the waste, lesser will be the need for recycling and reusing.
In Kerala, Communist Party of India, Marxist State Secretary Kodiyari Balakrishnan has rendered resignation from the post today. LDF Left Democratic Front convener A. Vijay Raghavan has been given the charge of party affairs. He will be holding the post temporarily. His request for long leave has also been approved by the CPM Secretariat. Indian cricket team has reached Australia to start their preparations for a much-anticipated series between the two nations. India will play 3 T20s, 3 ODIs and 4 tests in the 2-month stay in Australia. Even though the first T20 will be played on November the 27th, the Indian squad, led by skipper Virat Kohli, reached early as they will now begin a 14-day quarantine-cum-training period on the outskirts of Sydney. The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual phone-in program tonight, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Rajendra K. Dhamija, Head of Neurology Department, Lady Hardinge Medical College, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. One can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
Maharashtra has become the second best state in water conservation efforts in the country and has bagged 6 awards in different categories of National Jal Shakti Awards for the year 2019. The state has won the first prize in the Water Regulatory Authority category for the second consecutive year. More from our correspondent.
Due to the best practices adopted in the field of water resources conservation and management, Maharashtra is marching forward and setting up new standards in this field. The autonomous decisions taken by the Water Regulatory Authority for the welfare of the people and the positive results due to its implementations in the water sector, efficient and equitable use of water and awareness created by the authority in controlling the water pollution and recycling the wastewater has resulted in getting the honor of standing first for the second consecutive year in the Water Regulatory Authority category. Similarly, Sangli District Administration has bagged the top prize in the River Revival category for reviving Agrani River. Being one of the drought-prone districts of the state, Agrani was a lifeline for the farmers across 5 talukas. The river had lost its existence and it was totally dry for some years. But due to the relentless efforts of the administration, the river has started flowing as it used to be in the past. Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
Vultures have always been considered an important part of ecosystem. However, their number has decreased considerably in the last few years. At present, survey of vulture habitats has started in Madhya Pradesh for how many vultures are left and what measures should be taken for their protection. More from a correspondent.
Survey of vulture habitats, considered an important part of ecosystem, has started in Madhya Pradesh. According to Wildlife Headquarters, after this survey, the vultures will be counted in the state. For this work, Van Vihar National Park of Bhopal has been made the nodal agency. Van Vihar officials said that the vultures are counted every 4 years. After the year 2018, now their count will start from the first week of February next year. After counting the vultures, a review will be made about their conservation and improvement in habitat. Paritosh Dikshit, AIR News, Bhopal.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. The national capital had fog in the morning and has a partly cloudy sky in the day. In Mumbai, sky will be clear. Chennai will have rain or thunder showers with strong gusty winds. Kolkata is expected to have a mainly clear sky varying between 21 and 32 degrees temperature. Onto the north in Srinagar, there will be mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. In Jammu, minimum temperature was 11 degrees while maximum will be around 26 degrees with mainly clear sky. In Leh, sky will be mainly clear becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature was -8 degrees, maximum around 11. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with light rain with temperature hovering between 2 and 18 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, there will be generally cloudy sky with light rain and temperature will hover between 6 and 20 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates Ayurveda institutes at Jamnagar and Jaipur, says Ayurveda focuses on well-being of humanity. World Health Organization to set up its Global Center for Traditional Medicine in India. Newly elected MLAs of NDA to meet in Patna on 15th November to take a final call on the formation of new government in Bihar. Center to provide over 4,000 crore rupees to 6 states affected by cyclone, floods and landslides. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to around 93%. Dhanteras being celebrated throughout the country today. And with that, we end the midday news.